Welcome to Little Bits of Information on How Insurance Works. This is Lauren and Dr. Joe. Lauren, we had a couple people come in. They wanted to know what their insurance was going to do and what it wasn't going to do. And it was like they had this big expectation that it was going to cover like everything. We as consumers will go someplace, we'll whip out our fancy plastic card. I was going to swipe this thing, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just going to cover it. And then whenever you get up to the counter, they're like,
Psych.
yeah, we don't take American Express, and
Right.
you're like, oh, what the crap am I gonna
okay.
do? Yeah, it doesn't work. What are some common things that, as somebody newer in the medical realm, that you think people should know when it comes to how insurance works?
Well, I think the biggest misconception is that, like you were saying earlier, oh, I have insurance, that means they pay for everything. It's not always the case. It's very rare when they do.
Oh yeah, it's extremely rare.
And I think especially people in my generation, in the millennials, like we assume that, oh yeah, they're just going to pay for it, and they're just uninformed that no, that's not the case.
There's always a patient responsibility.
Exactly. It's of course not the patient's fault. They blame it on the doctor, and
Of
that's the
course they
doctor's
do.
fault.
And not
So
and
yeah,
it's not just our fault. Like it's
yeah,
not just our office. It happens
yeah,
in every office across the country. What are some things specifically you think people should know? I mean, like I think let's just talk like the basics. What's a deductible?
right. So you have to pay an X amount before insurance is going to kick in anything.
Right, up front.
Yeah,
Up front.
exactly.
We've seen some plans that have a waived deductible. If you're going to go to a chiropractor, okay, cool. We'll waive that as a courtesy, as a benefit that's written in the policy. I think the other has to do with like a copay.
hmm That's kind of something that they have to pay up front, like per visit.
Right.
And that goes towards a deductible, right?
Sometimes it does
Yeah.
and sometimes it doesn't. I think the biggest factor is that it really depends upon what's written in their policy.
hmm
So even though we could say like, oh yeah, we work with Blue Cross and Blue Shield, we work with HealthLink, we work with United Healthcare, whoever it may be, unless it's black and white what's written down, it doesn't matter. It really
Right.
doesn't matter.
Right.
I think we verified benefits for a patient in a plan that we work with, and it's like a $7,000 out of network deductible. It's $3,500 in network, and they only allow for 20 visits. Like we're never going to satisfy that deductible.
I don't think anywhere you would.
No.
Yeah.
And it just, yeah, it's just a mess. So, I mean, the insurance company is pushing that patient towards self-pay is really what
Yeah.
it's coming down to. Let's talk about that copay. So copay is what you would, in essence, pay every single time that you came in. But there's
Right.
also this thing called co-insurance too. Do you
Yeah.
remember what we talked about for co-insurance?
Isn't that so? When somebody hits their deductible, let's say they had a $3,000 deductible, they already paid that $3,000 somewhere
Deductibles
else.
met,
So
yeah.
now co-insurance, it's usually like a 70-30, right?
Yeah, it's a percentage split.
Yeah. So it's what insurance pays and then what the patient is responsible for.
Correct. And it all depends upon what's called an allowable amount. So like let's say we can bill $1,000 for services, right? Like ridiculous, right? Doesn't matter. Any number you pick. Blue Cross will come in and they'll say, "Hey, we're only going to consider $72.52 is what we're going to expect. Everything else, you got to write that sucker off."
Yeah.
So we know that only that amount is, then you take the percentage off that. So if it is a 70-30 split, if it's 30% of $70, that's 7 times 3, that's $21 that the patient's responsible for, and then they should cut a check for the difference for that service.
Right.
If there are any other services that are outside that plan policy too, is something we have to consider as well.
And it's kind of sad that a lot of people don't actually understand. I mean, even people in your generation too, I feel like they don't understand either. And it's the very basic thing that people should be learning early on.
But I don't think there's any fault to go to anybody because it's nothing we're really taught. I mean, half the time when we call insurance companies to verify benefits, we run circles around those people just because that representative on the phone has no idea what they're doing. Not even to mention like what the new laws that are coming out for making sure that we can provide our patients with a clear estimate before care even begins. They said, well, we can't give you that information. Well, I got to give it to the patient so we can be transparent.
And not only for the doctor, but also the patient too, because they just want to get better. That's the main thing.
And that's all we want to do for the patient too. But the insurance company wants to put them in between us and make us the bad guy.
Yeah.
I know. We'll bring you some more tips as we go along, some common questions that patients really ask. So have a great day. Talk to you
Bye.
later. Bye.